Hey everybody, and welcome back to Art a la Carte. In this video I want to show you an easy way to draw a really stunning tree design. So the first thing we're going to do is create a circle. And I find for this the easiest way to do that is with some sort of template. So I'm using an embroidery hoop. You could use anything that's circular, a lid to a container or whatever, or you can freehand it if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I'm just going to draw very lightly with a pencil a circle shape. The reason I want to have this light is because I'm going to end up erasing all these pencil marks in a little bit. Now once I have my circle down, I want to find the very center of this. I'm going to go ahead and measure the very farthest distance on this circle. So I don't want to measure here because there's still more here. So I want to find the very farthest out. So it's about 3 3/4. So I want to find the center of that right about here. And then I'm just going to very lightly draw a line down the middle. And this is going to be where the trunk is going. From this point on, there's not going to be any precise lines. It's all going to be very natural, and so there's no mistakes that you can possibly make. We just want this to kind of be a little bit on the even side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken up my trunk of my tree a little bit and bring it down. As it comes down towards the base, it'll widen a little bit, but not super much. And then you can kind of have it go off into some roots if you want it to. And then in the top here, you're going to have it begin to branch off into little branches. So every time it splits, the branch is going to get a little bit thinner. So this first split here, maybe I'm going to have this kind of come up like this a little bit from this one, and have one come over here. So this now is split, so these are going to be thinner. I wouldn't want one this thick branching off so much. I want it thinning out just a little bit. Then when this splits again, it's going to again get a little bit thinner. And you can just go crazy with this however you want. Though I'm going to stop the thick branches about 1/2 inch from the circle. I can go out with thinner little like twigs, but I'm going to keep my thicker branches about 1 inch or 1.5 inches from the circumference of the circle. If you have a hard time coming up with tree branch designs, take a look at pictures of trees, especially like winter trees. If you search winter trees, then you're going to see them without the foliage on them as much. It'll give you a good idea of how the branches go. And don't be afraid of having some branches kind of overlap each other. So you can see as I begin to work this tree out, I want to end up with very thin little twigs. Once we get to the point where we really like our tree, then we can begin to ink it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and go with just a plain black ink. So the one thing you want to watch for is an ink that is not super water soluble, because we're going to put some watercolor on here for the actual leaves. And if you have one that can bleed with water, it's going to create a different effect. It may be a cool effect. You may want that. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use this brush. So it's a Pentel brush pen. And I'm just going to go ahead and very carefully just ink in my tree trunk and branches and limbs and all that. All right, so once we have the tree all inked in, we're going to make sure that the ink has a good time to dry. So give it a couple minutes so that it's all nice and ready to go. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and erase that circle line. Just because for me, I find that if I put water on pencil, it doesn't like to erase after that. I don't want that line to show up. Now we get to think about what type of tree and season of tree are we in. So we can have green leaves or deep green leaves, light green leaves, yellow leaves, red leaves, no leaves, pink leaves if you want like a cherry blossom tree. So pick out the color scheme you want for your leaves. So for me, I'm going to use these collections of green here, and then a couple of these yellows over here. Now, to place the leaves on your tree, there are a ton of different methods, but for this one, I'm going to use a bit of a stippling brush, and I actually made this one myself. This was a really thick, rounded brush. I gave it a haircut and made it into a bit of a stippling brush. So if you don't have one, and you have an extra round brush, you can turn it into a stippling as long as the bristles itself are a little bit stiff. So I'm going to pre-wet some of my paints by just using, I have a little water in a spray can, or I have some water in a little spray jar thingamajig, and get that kind of going. And I'm just going to dab in my paintbrush and just get the brush on, or the paint on the bristles. And then I'm just going to start stamping these down here and not pushing or pulling the brush, just stamping. And you can see this great texture that this brush leaves. And it's going to be great because this is creating these great leaves with such little work for us. It's going to make it look like we really planned each and every one of these leaves out, when in fact we just stamped a brush on this paper to make these cool leaves. Artist trick. It's kind of like learning the inside secrets. Now I can go a little bit crazy if I want to, but overall I'm trying to keep that circular shape as I go about stamping. And I'm just using this one color right now, and I don't want to totally cover up this leaf. I don't want to make this solid green because I want to make it look like lights kind of coming through a bit. Besides, I've got a lot of other colors to go with. So now I'm going to pull in this lighter shade of green. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to tap in some of my yellow. So I've got a little yellow and a little of this green together. Last, I'm going to go in with just some straight yellow on here and just kind of tap in a little bit of this. This yellow is a little bit more opaque, so you can see it's kind of covering up a little bit of the branches. And I'm just going to tap again over top of that to kind of blend those out just a little bit. And such an easy technique. You can be a beginner painter and totally get this because it's just taking this paintbrush and punching it down on the paper. Hopefully you enjoyed this little painting trick to create a really easy looking tree that makes it look like you put a lot of effort and thought into it. If you try this at home, make sure to take a picture of it, tag me in your photos if you post them on Instagram or Twitter. I'll leave links to my social media in the description box below. If you're brand new to my channel, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you want to make sure that you get notified when I do upload a new video, you can hit that bell icon, and that way YouTube will let you know every time I post a new video. So if there's something special that you'd like to learn how I draw, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. I'm gathering a new list for the next upcoming couple of tutorials, so this is a good time to put in your requests. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me, and until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Maybe one of these videos. Check it out.